Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. As I was logging on here, I just noticed I made a error when I scheduled it, and I'll just share this. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. Here we go. All right, so thank you for joining me today. I noticed that I made an error and I put 11 p.m. instead of 11 a.m. today. So hopefully you guys, if you're catching this on the replay, at least, sorry if you were not able to catch me on this live version. So today is Monday. I like to call it your real estate market Monday update. I jump on here for a little bit, kind of give you an update where things are at in the real estate market. I'm here in Cuyahoga County, Northeast Ohio. A lot of the information that I tend to give applies to wherever you are across the globe. I like to give you lots of tips and information. So today we have a short week, right? With the holiday and it being Thanksgiving and Black Friday, a lot of people tend to take off right around the holiday. So I want to jump right into it, give you your information about the real estate market. So here we go. All right, so thank you guys for joining me. My name is Andrea Wilson. I'm the broker over at Brickhouse Realty. If you're not familiar with us, you got to come out and meet us, connect with us, give us a phone call so you can learn more about who we are. But we're located here in Northeast Ohio. We work with buyers, sellers, real estate investors, and we are so different from all of these other real estate brokerages. We like to really help educate the community on community building and building wealth through real estate. So we would love to help you and your family generate wealth through real estate. So it's a short week. We have Thanksgiving this week, which, the year that we have had from 2020, it is definitely going to be a great opportunity to just pause, slow down for a minute, and just thank God that we made it through 2020. We've come a long way, and it's kind of interesting when we think about where we've been, So what's interesting to me through all of this is as I'm going through social media, I'm following friends, I'm talking to people, I'm talking to clients, buyers, sellers, and all. And everyone is at a different place. It's crazy because everyone is at a different place. We have some people who are anxious and ready to buy in this real estate market while we're working with other people who would love to buy, but they may be out of work. We see people who are absolutely thriving through this entire pandemic and have not been impacted by it. In fact, I'm actually hearing a lot of people saying that the pandemic has given them a lot of clarity, either in their home life or in their business. And then I've seen other people taking the approach that, whoa, this is a lot going on. Maybe you lost family members or friends and really have just kind of going into hiding. And I really don't think that there is a right or wrong way to any of this. I definitely think that this time or this year so far should have given us lots of to what is important in our lives, that or equate that even to the real estate market and you're thinking about buying a home. So before you might have been going into it that you need the biggest, baddest house on the block. And so maybe that's not a priority any longer. Maybe building up a larger savings. Like you still want to move, you still need some additional space, but maybe you kind of realize that you don't need that extra house and you want to be able to do things put more in your savings, go on a few more vacations each year, or just truly setting what the priority is and how the future is. Because we really don't know, about 2021. And I pray and I hope that it is better than 2020 for all, not just for a group of people or certain class or whoever. I hope that 2020 is better for all of us. And so, going into that, we really don't know what 2021 is going to bring us. So as we prepare for 2021, I want you guys to take a moment this Thanksgiving, and it's not about pilgrims and different things like that. What it really is, it's an opportunity and time to give thanks that we made it. We made it through 2020. The year is almost over. Once we get through Thanksgiving, we're going to be singing Christmas carols and Happy New Year before we know it. So I officially want to thank each and every one of you who has supported my business here at Brick House Realty or any of the agents in our office so far in 2021, whether it was just coming to one of our events, sharing posts that we had, or actually using our services. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So I definitely want to take a moment to say how grateful I am and how much love and appreciation you guys have shown us as a company, my family and I, and to the agents in our office. So are you guys planning to go Black Friday? I guess that's the other question that is pressing. Black Friday is traditionally a time that people go out, they spend lots of money. And again, use that time, that Black Friday. Don't feel the pressures of what the stores are trying to push down on us and kind of dictate as to what we should be shopping for. Let's shop smarter this year instead of focusing in and racking up credit card. So no PowerPoint this week. Usually I will share some PowerPoints as to what's going on in the real estate market. So I'm not doing that this week. My computer's been a little bit glitchy for whatever reason. So we are still seeing the same thing going on in the housing market. When we looked at the numbers last week, the market slowed down just a tad bit, and we're still kind of seeing that consistency here again this week. Homes are still going, they're still selling quickly. Definitely, if you are a buyer, it's a great time to buy. The interest rates are rather low. If you're a seller, great time to sell because there's a lot of buyers in the market. If you're thinking about financing your house, now is the time to even think about refinancing. As we have started to see those interest rates still go up, but still at a reasonable rate for you to move forward and think about that. Maybe it's just worth having the conversation as to what makes sense. You want to pay, if you're thinking about refinancing, pay particular attention to any fees associated with that and how much time it would take for you to recoup that. Does it make sense overall is what you're looking at. But if you've been in your house for 6 months, this is something that you can consider doing. So the market, it is still moving along. If you're a real estate investor, I am starting to see a little bit more inventory come onto the market. So you don't want to give up on that. You want to make sure that you're prepared for when that deal does come through. So if you haven't talked to a lender and you feel like that's the route that you're going to go with to get into your first project, making sure that you take care of that piece of it and have your financing secured, whether it is you plan on living in one unit and renting out the other unit, making sure that you can get that loan product that you need for that. Or if you're working with private money or hard money lender, making sure that you receive that pre-approval letter, because when that ideal property comes up, you want to make sure that you are in a good position to quickly move forward, because we have to submit a pre-approval letter with all of those offers that we are going to be writing. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, so thank you for joining in. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is a question that comes up all the time that I hear from potential buyers. And when they're doing their search for houses, typically on Zillow, which I'm not a big fan of Zillow. I think that you can find some useful information out there, but really if you're searching for a home, you need to connect with a real estate agent, have them set you up in the MLS or our HomeSnap app to be able to do your searches, because that's going to get you the most accurate information. Zillow has, it's a lead magnet for real estate agents. So when you go to click on that stuff, they're just sending that over to a real estate agent that paid for leads from them. So that information oftentimes is going to be outdated, and it becomes frustrating for you as a buyer, because these great looking properties, too good to be true, deals start to pop up on there, and you're like, what about this one? What about this one? As you're asking your real estate agent, they're like, no, 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 no. And so you're going to start to get frustrated, starting to double check is what these properties can't possibly be all under contract. So you want to get directly as close to the source, best source of information as possible. And that's, you're going to be using an MLS or an app like HomeSnap. And there's a couple other ones that are out there that your agent can connect you with. But with that being said, one of the questions that always comes up that buyers are seeing on there is a property with a status of either contingent or pending. We get that all the time. So I want to kind of break those two words down for you so you know what that means when you see this and you're looking for a home. When you're online and you see a house that is contingent. So as real estate agent, the listing agent, once you go under contract, we're required in our multiple listing service, also known as MLS, to change the status of the property. Sometimes this status change does not happen as fast as we would like it to happen, but for whatever reason, sometimes the status is a little bit delayed. So it might show as active, meaning that it's open for anyone to write an offer on. But then when we go to submit the offer or talk to the agent, they're like, well, we actually accepted an offer. We're just waiting on the contracts to be signed. So we have that situation. The other thing that you will see is that it will say if next we'll go into a contingent status, right? So when you write a contract on a property, or your agent writes a contract on a property for you, usually there's contingencies automatically written into the contract, right? Unless we kind of removed it early on or through some kind of other language or addendum to the contract. The first contingency is typically that we see is going to be based on your financing, contingent upon your financing going through. So that means you have your pre-approval letter, right? Now you have the offer. We submit the offer to your loan officer. The loan officer is going to have you make formal loan application. When you make that formal loan application, this is what really gets the ball rolling, and they do a deeper dive into your credit. Now, the lender, a lot of the lenders for your pre-approval will have collected your bank statements and a lot of other information from you already, but they really are going to do that deep dive and ask for additional information on you after you make that formal loan application. So there is a possibility that that lender, like something could pop up as they're doing that extra deep dive into your credit profile, and they say, you know what, we are not going to be able to move forward with this loan. So because of that, or when that happens, you are able to pull out of that deal. In most cases, it depends. Every contract is different, but you're able to pull out of that contract and still receive your earnest money back, that good faith deposit back, without any like recourse. So your offer was contingent upon your financing going through, right? So that's one contingency. The second contingency is going to be your home inspections, your general home inspection, your radon, your pests, whatever it is. If you check those boxes, it's important that you understand that in your contract, you said, yes, I want a home inspection. So your offer will become contingent upon that home inspection. So from the standpoint of buyer and seller, at the beginning of this, they have every intention to getting to the closing table. But as we're going through this, we have these open contingencies that you're working to clear up. So if you have that inspection contingencies, how we're going to remove that is you're going to have the home inspection. The home inspector is going to come out, he's going to take a look, and and there's usually no perfect home, even a new construction home, and he's going to say, I see X, Y, and Z. We typically look for health or safety hazards on the property. And then we may go back to the seller to say, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, can you repair X, Y, and Z that we found on this report? If you agree to the terms, great. If you don't, that deal could fall apart. And if it falls apart, you could be entitled to receiving your earnest money back without any recourse, right? But you had that contingency in there. But once you move past those contingency periods, that inspection period, inspection is done, you're okay with it, that's removed. You get your firm commitment from your lender, that's removed on there. Any other contingency that you may have had in there, one of the big ones that we always see here in the Cleveland market is a point of sale contingency, because you didn't see that report. So that contract, when you look online, those properties will say contingent because they're still working on clearing up that item that was written in a contract that's holding you back, right? So the deal could potentially fall apart. So, and then once those contingencies are cleared and we know, okay, we've gotten through that contingency period, we've had the home inspection on the property, then the status of the property will change to pending. Once it changes to pending, then that's a closer mark or a better indication of where they're at in the process and that it's even more likely to get to close. A deal could fall apart in pending. It can fall apart in contingent. Sometimes while it's under contingent, sellers will allow a showing on the property. The problem is a lot of you will get your hopes up high and kind of stuck on that property when it says contingent status in hopes that the deal is going to fall apart and then you can jump into it. And for some, I feel like it may even delay the process for you to the point that you missed out on other opportunities or houses that came up because you're in hopes that this other property fell through. In most cases, I would say that the property in contingent or pending status are more likely to close than not to close, right? It's just something that I think that you want to focus on, or you can follow it. You can have the agent contact that other agent. You could even write an offer as a backup offer on that property, but you just have to know and understand what that contingency means, that it's pretty likely that it's going to close. And then you want to think about this. Usually if that deal fell apart because of a home inspection item that came up on there, right? They found a crack in the foundation, and so the buyer asked the seller to repair the crack in the foundation, but the seller was unwilling to do that. Now, you, as the backup offer, are you really going to want to buy the property that has the crack in the foundation, knowing that the seller was unwilling to repair that? So you have to think about it like, when that deal does fall through, why did it fall through? If it fell through because of that buyer's financing, fine. But if it fell through because of like a home inspection or a point of sale issue, then you want to second guess or question why it fell through altogether. So that is the explanation there between contingent and pending, just so you know. But people ask all the time about, those two things, because usually the properties you're most interested in is like, oh, shoot, somebody, wrote on that contract, got it before. So, that is your weekly tip in your market update for this week. If you guys have any questions, I am able to assist you. Feel free to type your comments or type your questions in the chat box. Again, I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Please take a break from work, take a break from all those other stress enjoying your day. If you are just following me or seeing my video for the first time, please like or subscribe to my channel. I'm always giving you tips and information about the real estate market. Love to connect with you. You can call that number that is scrolling below. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me, guys.